see the new Ariel.
Yes.
Because and I don't want to upset any mermaids who are watching the show. Because I know there are many communities of mermaids of various colors. And when I say of various colors, I'm not playing. There are violet mermaids. There are pink mermaids. There are black mermaids. There are Latina mermaids. There are mermaids of every ilk. And you know why there can be? Because it's the world that we would like to see better. We would like to see as many people represented in fantasy as exists. So all of y'all who have problems because there are black hobbits, get a job. Get a job. Go find yourself because you are focused on the wrong stuff.
Yes. You've seen it, guys, ladies and gentlemen. It's true. It's there is a black Little Mermaid. There is a black Little Mermaid. Yes. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for you all, but there is one. And to Whoopi Goldberg, the biggest idiot in existence. Let me put this into this way. Nobody likes these enforced black people into these type of movies because it doesn't meet with the lore or the actual anything that has to do with it. I'll be going over what's going on and what movies will be if they do end up making these movies, that they would switch the actual race or gender of it, and they would make it into an actual to what they perceive it should be. When you mess with lore, when you mess with the way things should be, you cause major problems. This is that's just the reality of everything. People don't like that, and it makes plenty sense. It's like making Goku black, and when it doesn't actually make any sense for him to be black. He was not being portrayed as black. Now, if you want to have a black mermaid that is not portraying as Ariel but somebody else, that's perfectly fine, and nobody would mind that. But when you have an actual character be race swapped, because we all know that's what they're going to be doing, it gets on the people's nerves. The black community needs to show up for this movie. Fans defend Halle Bailey's The Little Mermaid as racist trolls call her offensive slurs after movie's official sneak peek. Disney just released a trailer for the live adaptation of The Little Mermaid. The film stars Halle Bailey as Ariel, Jonah King as Prince Eric, Melissa McCarthy as Ursula, and Jeremy Bradham as King Triton. The teaser released at the D23 Expo received a good response, and Halle Berry even got a standing ovation after the teaser reveal. However, not everyone was impressed by the actress in the teaser. Which it doesn't happen. It's not because she's actually, black, by the way. It's just because, they're changing the entire thing of the actual series. Fans were excited Disney announced a live-action remake of the classic Little Mermaid. However, this excitement soon faded for several fans after Halle Bailey was cast in the film for the role of Ariel. It became a hot topic about how Disney is wrong for casting an actress of color for the role of a princess who's supposed to be white, even though no such specification about the character is mentioned anywhere. Well, she was originally white, and the whole story has to do with her dealing with the white people. I mean, it's not really a big... In a sense, when you change core aspects of things, it ruins the actual premise of the movie or show. This is what we have, and this is the problem we have it. The reason why we don't want black dwarfs is because dwarves are not actually black in Tolkien's vision. Okay? So when you put in a black person and they happen to be a dwarf, it doesn't make sense because in lore aspect, they're not black. There is nothing wrong with that. It just happens to be that in the lore is in that person's eyes they're just not black. There's nothing wrong with that. There's not a form of racism. But when you do this, you're trying to pander to a group of people that it's just insulting. We do not need to be held up in this type of regard, okay? I want good black characters that are not being forced into things just because they're black. Stop doing it. Why is everyone obsessed with the idea of Ariel being white? According to the original animated film and Hans Christian Andersen source material, Ariel is a mermaid princess, the youngest daughter of King Triton. The story follows as her as she longs to find more about the world beyond the sea. She falls in love with Prince Eric while visiting the surface and makes a deal with the evil sea witch Ursilia. Which we'll be going through that, by the way, and seeing on how inaccurate that's going to be. However, there is no mention of Ariel being white or from any specific race, but by whom have been seeing the animated The Little Mermaid are not satisfied with Halle Bailey's Little Mermaid. They came out calling her vision inappropriate just because she is black. They're calling her vision inappropriate because it doesn't make sense to the actual character at hand. That's why. You just don't race swap things and think it's okay just because it's just a race swap. It's stupid. This is not the first time people have projected this to the skin color of the actors playing a certain character who, according to them, is supposed to be white earlier. The same thing would happen with the House of Dragon actor Steven Toussaint, who plays Colvin in the show. I don't think that's much of an issue here, but okay. People started calling out the makers of the series for casting a black actor for the role, and even started comparing a work of fiction with historical facts. Even though they do not have any suitable reason behind it, they still argue that Ariel can't be black. Yeah, because it doesn't make sense. She's originally white. That's the thing. You're trying to change things that just ruins everything. People are tired of it. These people fail to see Halle Bailey as Ariel even after her being fit for the character. Yeah, because it doesn't make sense. From her looks to her voice and singing abilities. Well, her looks could be one thing, but singing abilities as well. But singing as well, I mean, yeah, if she's not a good singer or whatever, then it makes a lot of sense. If she's not a good singer, then she's just not a good singer. It's just that simple. I mean, you could criticize people, right? You could criticize black people about that. We can do that, right? Everyone is offended by Harry's portrayal of the Little Mermaid. People have praised her after its season release and have given their support. Netizens even appreciated Disney for not having the same idea of having a white princess only. Okay, listen. Of course, these people are obviously going to do it because they're part of the LGBTQ or whatever far left type of this deal, right? So yeah, people didn't complain about as Jasmine mostly because of the fact is it makes a bit more sense for her to be more of that shade of color, obviously, because that's fine. Now what we have here is that we have the surfs going onto the recording, obviously, and that when you lose your shit over a children's cartoon because the half-fish fictional character isn't a master race enough for you. No, because it doesn't make sense. Like I said, make any character a different race of something and you'll see that people will get angry over it because it doesn't make sense. The thing is, guys, is that what we're going to be seeing here, obviously, is that when they make a new movie, it's going to be a different gender or it's going to be a different race, obviously. Go look at this, for example. The Little Mermaid, 1.2 million dislikes. 1.2 million. You don't get these amount of dislikes if the series is actually good or makes sense. It doesn't make sense, and people are tired of the woke garbage. Disney's going to have another failure of a movie, and it's all because they're going to try to incorporate this woke bullshit into their stuff. This is a problem. This is the reason why I want Disney to fail. In a misproportion. Why? Because I don't want this woke garbage into these movies anymore. Just make movies in the way as it's supposed to be portrayed. That and nobody really likes live action. Which I didn't mention before. It's because another thing too is that every time all Disney's doing is rehashing old stuff that they made into live action. That's all they've been doing for the past 5-10 years now. They made some new stuff, but obviously they happen to be black for the most part, or nothing original at all. And then when they come out with a new movie, it's obviously going to be a person of a different color. It's going to be live action, and nobody wants live action movies, which is probably another reason why this has another garner of dislikes. Not because she's just black, but because it's live action and nobody wants the live action stuff. I remember The Lion King did not do well specifically because it was live action and nobody wanted to watch it because it's live action. This is the problem here. People think that people want live action from actual animated stuff, and that's not the case. Because every time when you make a live action series, it is absolutely terrible. This is why. We also have this person going here, obviously, you know, praising about the series and the Mermaid and all this stuff and what have you. So we have the best mermaids I've ever known and all this stuff, like obviously carrying to the woke idea that, you know, all this stuff is great and all, right? And we also have here, whoa, we're not dealing with this. There we go. Oh, that's so much better on the eyes. Okay. New Little Mermaid Snow White stars say their modern characters won't be defined by needing a man's love. So remember when see this here? I'm not gonna go through the whole article because there's no point to do that. But see this here? That characters won't be defined by needing a man's love. And then we go here specifically to where they say, according to the original animated film and the Chris Anderson source material, Air is a mermaid, the youngest daughter of the King Triton. The story follows her as long as she longs to find out more about the world beyond the sea. She falls in love with Prince Eric while visiting the surface and makes a deal with the evil sea witch Ursula. She falls in love with Prince Eric while visiting the surface and makes a deal with the evil sea witch Ursula. So, when you have this being put here, and then you have this as New Little Mermaid Snow White stars say their modern characters won't be defined by needing a man's love, you are actively contradicting the actual main source material of the series. So when people read this, and they see this here, you actively know that you're contradicting the series and the main contrast of the story in itself. The whole reason why this story exists is because of her falling in love with Prince Eric and visiting the surface and making the deal. This is the whole reason why. This starts the whole reason why she goes up there to begin with. But when you do this type of stuff, it causes a huge rift in the actual main story, and that's what makes people upset. You guys want to keep on betraying its race, but it's not a racial problem. It is not a racial issue at all. There are a lot of things that are leading up to the actual amount of dislikes to the story, to the series in itself, that makes people not want to watch it. And we also have this here as how Halle Bailey dealt with racism after the Little Mermaid casting. Okay. It is not racism. Alright? Again, this is not a form of actual racism. It's just not. It's not a form of racism specifically because of the mere fact that people have obviously grievances about the series besides she's just black. It doesn't make sense because she's originally white, so that's one. And then you have the whole relationship thing, which is apparently going to be thrown out the window, which is not good. So when we have all these things piled up, yes, the series in the show is not going to be good. Now, let me go to the one thing that I was talking about before, to where we have all this great stuff of series. Now, you have this Emperor's New Groove. We all know that this person is originally like white or more Egyptian, so it'd be more of a closer to Egyptian, so we'll closer to Egyptian, but he's obviously white, obviously. He's gonna be black if they make a series about it. Hercules, black. The Black Cauldron, this guy's white, black. And so forth. We'll have all these characters end up being specifically, or we'll have here as well. The Swan Princess, white man, white woman, black. Anastasia, black. And then we'll go on to the next one. The Peter Pan. He's white, right? He's black now. You see what I'm getting at here? That these people will race swap. All these characters, all these people that I have named, all these movies that we know that have white characters in it will be transformed, will be changed in two major ways. One, they'll either be gender swapped, so if they're a man, they'll be a woman. If they're white, they'll be black. And if one of those things doesn't happen, it will at the very least be a live action. But when they remake these things, it won't be in a different light. It will, in the same series, it will be in live action, and they'll either be black or they'll be a female. We see the trends and people are tired of it. It's not hard to know what they're going to do. We can predict what they're going to do, and we can predict on what movie, if they do come out, what they'll be. I guarantee you when they release this new series, which would be, by the way, if we go to Snow White, which I don't think they have released anything about it, but if they go to Snow White, she's going to be black. She's not going to be white, she's going to be black. And there won't be a relationship with just the whole cause of everything. We know this time and time again on how many things that they will be portraying for actual black things. Well, for actual, just race swapping them consistently. And this will be over and over and over again. It will not stop until these companies die. Stop giving them your money. Because we all know they're going to race swap every single movie possible. They're going to regenderize every single movie possible. Because they look like they're going to cater to the actual far left when that's not going to be the case. And they're going to fail and fail and fail time and time again, and I cannot wait for it. We know, we see the trends, and people are tired of it. Alright guys, that's it for the video. Like, subscribe, share, and as always, take care.